Every 4 years, Americans who are 18 or older have the responsibility of voting for who they want to be President of the United States. It's easy to imagine every US citizen's vote being counted together on election day, with the person receiving the most votes winning. But this is not the case. Instead, the Americans use an electoral college system. Let me explain. There are a total of 538 electoral college votes. For any one candidate to win the presidency, they must receive over half the electoral votes cast, so in this case, 270. Some states have more voting weight than others. States are allocated a certain number of electoral college votes based on population size. So for example, California, with a total population of 36 million, receive a total of 55 electoral college votes, whereas a smaller state such as Iowa, with a population of 3 million, only receives 7. The candidate who wins the most votes in a state becomes that state's choice for president, and so that candidate will receive all of the electoral college votes that state has on offer. On Friday, the 2nd of November, Surge Radio and SUSUtv held a joint event titled An Idiot's Guide to the US Election. Over the course of an hour, a Romney supporter and an Obama supporter, as well as an undecided voter, battled it out discussing issues such as the economy, foreign affairs and Obamacare. Kirsty interviewed our candidates before they went on air. Here's what they had to say.
Hello and welcome to SUSUtv and Surge's Question Time. I'm here with Andrew from the Conservative Association. I've got Ellis here, who's President of Social Sciences, and I've got Adam Scott from the Labour Club. Welcome very much, gentlemen. So firstly, could you sum up Romney for me in 3 words?
A proven leader.
Okay, excellent. Romney's sort of key policies, what would you say that they were?
I think for Romney the most important thing is getting America's economy back on track, so that's ensuring businesses can prosper, ensuring that they can create new employment in terms of the general gist of what the current American economy is about, but also ensuring green technology, ensuring new future technologies, those sorts of things to improve the economy, try and boost the economy, and also help the environment generally, because obviously while he is a keen businessman, he's also a keen environmentalist, ensuring that we go forward in the right ways, and also ensuring we have peace in the Middle East as well, peace and stability around the world, and free trade in the world as well. Those are key things to improve not only America's prosperity, but our prosperity here in Britain, and that's why it's important as British people that we support Romney.
So Adam, could you sum up Obama for me in 3 words?
Leader, environmentalist, and Obamacare. He's got 5.2 million new jobs into the private sector since he became president. The fact that he bailed out the auto car industry, something that Mr. Romney didn't support and something that wouldn't have happened under a Romney president. Mr. Romney, we must remember, only pays 13% tax, which is a hell of a lot less than Obama, and is a hell of a lot less than what he should do. Obama has proven that he's the better president, and he'll prove that he will be the better president if he wins. He's also proven that he's an environmentalist. He's trying to get 80% of energy in America coming from renewable energies by 2030. This is a big move, this is a bold move, and this is a move that America needs, and this is the move that the world needs. So for Britain, he would be the better president.
Ellis, you've taken a kind of neutral stance. Could you sum up for us Obama and Romney in perhaps a couple of words and explain to us which way you're leaning and why?
Well, this election I'm so indecisive. Like last election I wanted McCain to win. In the UK I'm a Conservative politician, but with Romney I think he's a fantastic businessman. I think he's proven that track record. He's a Republican, so he's for the free market, he's for individuality and a strong society, and I believe in those Republican values. And Obama's, again, he's for a strong people, but through more state intervention. I like that, but he's very environmentalist.
So, right, so great. Thank you ever so much, gentlemen. It's been really interesting talking to you, and good luck with the debate later on.
Okay, so our first question has been emailed in by Jenny Fletcher, and she asks, Obamacare, what is it and how successful has it been? Adam, I'd like to come to you first on this.
It doesn't discriminate against people that have a prior condition. He's done a lot, and he's done a lot for people that have cancer in America. And Mr. Romney says he'd repeal it, although he was one of the architects at the start. I'd like to hear what Andrew says about Mr. Flip-Flop.
Well, in terms of flip-flopping, I'd like to say that Mr. Romney has seen sense. And you say, oh, it's great, insurance can't discriminate. but they're not going to be able. But in the future, what they'll lead to is actually insurers not taking into account certain conditions, not actually paying for certain medications, which otherwise they would pay for, because it becomes too costly if you're forcing every health insurer to then pay for prior conditions or this or the other. It's becoming too costly. What I do think is it does infringe on the personal freedom of you spend your money how you want to. Why should people then have to be forced to take health insurance when you don't necessarily need health insurance?
Because it's fairer, Andrew. It's fairer because if you don't know when you're going to get ill, Andrew. You can't say I'm not going to get ill this week, because it's not up to you when you get ill. It's not up to you when you get hit by a car. It's not up to you when
surely
something happens.
Surely it's up to me to make the choice whether I want to have health insurance or not.
It's not up to you whether you get ill.
I'd like to come on, chaps. I'd like to bring Ellis in on this.
I think the middleman has a chance to speak, yeah? I'm loving this, by the way. The passion in this room is fantastic. But I would actually argue... Oh, by the way, I'm supporting Obama this election, I think. But only because I think he's the lesser of two evils. Because I'm sorry, I have to say that, but only this election. I mean, with Obama, I applaud what he's doing with healthcare, but I don't think he's actually going far enough. Paul Krugman, a big liberal economist and Nobel Prize winner, said himself that if America went a step further and went to an NHS-esque system, obviously the NHS has its own problems, but I mean, in terms of single-payer healthcare, pay through taxes, the American economy or the American cost of healthcare would go down by $300 to $400 billion. If they just put in a healthcare system which took out all the administrative costs of this private healthcare insurance system, you would find the insurance market in America would be far more competitive. Everyone would be paying less towards their healthcare through taxes, and you'll find costs will come down, and you have the best of both worlds. You have a free market approach within a single-payer healthcare system.
Excellent. I think that's a good way to end with the middleman there on the on healthcare. I'd go on to our next topic. I'd like to know, where do the candidates stand on energy and climate policy?
Since 2010, the US has imported half of all its oils that it's consumed, less than half, sorry. So it's trying to make America not only renewable, but also energy independent.
Progress and create newer technologies so they can encourage more prosperity in that respect. And Obama, he talks the talk, but what has he done apart from increased regulation?
I'll give you an example of what he's done.
He hasn't decreased taxes for technology firms. He hasn't decreased taxes to enable prosperity within the green energy sector. He hasn't done any of that. He talks the talk. Yes, I want 80% by 2013, but how's that going to happen unless you actually go ahead and actually put in policies to encourage firms to create green technologies? Whereas Mitt Romney has said categorically he will lower taxes for green technology firms.
Ellis, I'd like to bring you here because traditionally, as you say, that you would normally vote Republican, but I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that the reason why you would vote Democrat this time if you were an American citizen is because of Romney's energy policy and his decision to drill in the put the Keystone pipeline into the Alaska Nature Reserve. Is that correct?
Absolutely, you're correct there. The Republicans have been a traditional party of environmentalism with a Tea Party-esque movement in the House of Representatives, led by Michelle Bachmann, and you found, and Paul Ryan, sorry, they've swung too far to the right, in that they are trying to go back to those. It's almost like they're cowering away. I find that they're saying, let's not bother, let's just drill for more oil, drill baby drill, as Sarah Palin famously said back in 2008.
Since October 2009, his administration has completed energy upgrades in more than 1 million homes across the country, and these upgrades save over $400 in their heating bills in just the first year alone.
I think at the end of the day, the Republicans don't see climate change as the biggest problem we face in our current times, and that's why Romney is focusing on other issues, mostly the economy, because at the end of the day, the average Joe on the street doesn't really care about climate change or CO2 emissions. They care about ensuring...
They certainly care when their house gets washed away because of Superstorm Sandy.
They care that they have a job they can go to, that they can earn money, that they can then afford the repairs to those homes that are washed away.
Moving on, I'd like to come to something which a lot of people talk about, of course, and is highly controversial, the idea of conception and religious freedom, abortion. Romney, traditionally as a moderate Republican, has been someone who said that he wouldn't take away the right of abortion, it's just that the government shouldn't pay for it. Is that correct?
The Republicans, again, talk a good game. Moderate Republicans do. People like Giuliani, Schwarzenegger, and Bloomberg. But then, again, we found this party who swung to the right. And to the wrong part of the right, okay? I'm talking the bad part of the right. Where they start contradicting themselves, where they support religious foundations, but then they try and support freedom for the individual, yet it comes to a clash. We're like, oh, we support you in doing what you want, but you can't have an abortion. That's illegal. No, you can't do that. But then it's fine for them to go and choose their own social security accounts, but they can't choose in which state they can have their children and get married in.
He supports abortion up to 24 weeks, but he has said that they wouldn't be covered by pre-existing conditions in insurance plans, except in cases of rape and incest and where the life of the woman was endangered.
I'd like to move on to foreign policy. How successful would a Romney foreign policy be?
Terrible.
Adam, I'd like to bring you in first on this.
No, I think it would be absolutely awful. I think one of the things we can see from a foreign policy perspective with regards to Mr. Romney is he has an incredible ability to literally annoy everyone. He now says that he wants to take the embassy, which is in Tel Aviv in Israel, and put it in Jerusalem, again angering the Palestinians. He has an incredible ability to literally annoy everyone.
You have one man who insults his greatest ally.
Who are you talking about here?
I'm talking about Obama, sorry.
Obama.
Well, yeah, both
And
actually. Yeah, both have done that.
With what reference
Well,
is that?
Obama, he's a funny man because he thought the best way to solidify his relationships across the globe was to insult the United Kingdom, the only country which can fight on the same technological battlefield as the United States, by sending back, one, the bust of Winston Churchill we've had since 1945, two, by giving the Russians our serial codes for our nuclear weapons, three, by insulting the Brits in Europe by claiming that they should give up their sovereignty for a federal Europe, and four, by claiming that the French were in fact America's strongest ally. And as Fox News famously said, the Congo is a stronger ally to the United States and France.
Do you think a Romney foreign policy would be better than Obama's?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I mean,
Do you think he'd take a tougher line?
I mean, if Adam says Obama's success in the Middle East is the Libyans killing the American ambassador and dragging him through the street like a trophy, then if that's the success,
Well, I didn't say that.
Well,
I said
you said he had success in the Middle East, and that's the current situation. So if that's a success, then obviously we see different success. The issue is the Palestinians do not want a two-state solution. At the end of the day, they have rejected every possible two-state solution since the proposals have started.
Isn't that including a UN?
Including a UN around Jerusalem, because the Palestinians say unless Jerusalem is run by Palestine, they refuse any sort of two-state solution.
The key states in this election which are going to decide it are Colorado, Nevada, New Hampshire, Iowa and Ohio. At the moment, the prediction is that Obama is on 259 electoral votes and Romney is on 261. Now, of course, any candidate needs 270 to win. The key state here is Ohio with 18 electoral votes. That means that if whoever candidate gets that wins, that's why there's been such an increase in debate and whatnot in Ohio. That's going to decide the election. So with that in mind, I think a lot of it is going to come down to economics and what the president has done in his term of office. What is his economic policy, Adam?
His economic policy is trying to get more jobs. As I said, that he's created 5.2 million private sector jobs. He has helped distribute more than $93 billion in loans to more than 166,000 small businesses.
Go ahead, Andrew, take it away.
Well, firstly, Mr. Romney, yes, he has a great track record at Bain. Firstly, Boston Bain and Company, and then Bain Capital. First as a strategy consultant, getting firms up and running, ensuring they can work and be prosperous and employ more people, and then at Bain Capital, ensuring some of our most beloved brands like Domino's have become the successes that they are today.
And it's my opinion, and it's many people's opinion as well, that Obama is better on those issues. In the economy, he has created more private sector jobs. He has saved the auto industry, which is something that Mr. Romney wouldn't have done. He's given out loans to the extent of $93 billion in loans for many, many, many small businesses. He's created middle-class tax cuts, and he's got a campaign to cut.
I hope in his second term, Obama's going to swing more towards Clintonomics, which worked fantastically well in the 90s, with the middle-class tax cuts, with the budget surpluses. However, so in regards to Russell, I think in the second term his policies will start to bear fruit. However, I think he needs to add a more free market approach, because what you'll find is, this is what McCain said in 2008, was it's all well and good pumping in a several $billion stimulus, but if you simply lowered certain taxes, you could bring back $15 trillion worth of US capital from abroad.
Mitt Romney doesn't want to cut taxes, but he wants to cut spending. Is that going to pay for the deficit?
Well, firstly, he doesn't want to cut certain taxes. Secondly, he wants to cut, obviously, spending generally. Yes, he wants to increase defence spending, but apart from that, he wants to overall decrease spending. He wants to limit the budget, he wants to cap the budget and ensure that it's illegal for the US government to go above its budget cap. So at the moment, the deficit is so huge. In terms of lowering taxes, he wants to lower corporation tax to foster business. So that means more businesses are producing, more people are purchasing. That goes back into the economy. It creates a virtuous cycle of good business, good employment.
Is it not the case, though, that if you look at some of the recent reports published by the US Census Bureau, that actually Obama's policies are going to halve the deficit by the end of his second term? That is the projection. So actually, is Adam not right? Is America not actually on the right track? It's been hard so far, but you will see the long-term benefit.
No, I believe he's. I'm going to say a bit contradictory. I believe he's on the right track for now. But thank God he's only got 4 years left. But I get. But the thing is,
he might have less than that.
He might have 1 week left. No, I think he's on the right track.
It's interesting, of course, the economy is going to be the biggest issue in this election, and it'll be fascinating to see what will happen if Obama does get re-elected, or, of course, what will happen if Mitt Romney gets elected.